Sir, done.
You're connected on.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
Fantastic. With everybody's permission, shall we start? Because we should start in time. Sister Shivani, should we start?
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank
Everybody with us. So, great good evening in India, UK, good morning in US, Namaste, India, and the Thai way. The divinity in me is saluting the divinity in you, and divinity in you is saluting the divinity in me. Proud Indian, as world is not shaking hands, holding hands as Namaste. Ladies and gentlemen, around the world, let me wish you all a great happy Mother's Day, which we celebrated yesterday. No one can replace super mom of our lives. I lost my mom, Amaji, exactly 1 year back. Yesterday was her birthday. Birthday means 1 year. She's watching us from there. May I praise God to bless all moms of the world, because this is a relationship which no other relationship is equal to. Unbelievable relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our second Women Power program. The first was on 27th April, along with 8 similar wonderful women leaders from 8 countries, along with Dr. Kiran Bedi, Dr. Asha Padarkar. That day, Women Power, Challenges and Solutions. Today, the topic is a little different. Women Power, Futuristic View. I repeat, the Women Power, Futuristic View, looking at the future. Global Talent has got the signature program of Women Power, which is well known, and especially at UN organizations. And I'm very delighted that during the lockdown COVID days, we are able to connect with the people around the world through this digital space. We have today again with us 6 women leaders from 6 countries and our well-known, unparalleled Sister Shivani. Let me first, with great respect from heart, with Om Shanti, Sister Shivani, introduce her. It's very tough to introduce such a great persona of our times, Sister Shivani. I am honored. I am grateful to Sister for sparing time to be with us, irrespective of her very tight schedules normally. And during the COVID days, more and more people globally looking for her sermons. Sister Shivani is a young, dynamic teacher and scholar of Brahmakumari World Spiritual University. Her powerful programs around the masses at around 85 countries makes her a very unique motivator and an influencer. She has been instrumental in changing the lives of millions of people globally with her regular talks and discourses. A very powerful and beauty of communication in absolute simple way inspires everyone, including my family. I have had an opportunity to host her in Bangkok in 2011, and our Indian, Thai Indian, as well as Thai community had gone gaga with her speeches. I still remember as if it was yesterday, and those simple, powerful words are still in my mind, which ignited passion and commitment to serve human race. I don't know how to stop. I can go on and on, talk about Sister Shivani's achievements, but I think it's more important for me, for all of us, including our attendees who are here from different parts of the world, to listen to her thoughts. May I, with folded hands, request Sister Shivani, and I call Sister Shivani as S is simple, H is humane, I is intelligent, V is vast, A is amazing, N is natural, I is iconic. I repeat, S is simple, H is humane, I is intelligent, V is vast, A is amazing, N is natural, I is iconic. So that's how I call Sister Shivani. May I request you to start the program? You can speak for next 10 minutes. I'm sorry I'm not putting this thing, but I would like you to speak at least for 10 minutes. Sister Shivani, please.
Oh, greetings of peace from India for all our brothers and sisters all over the world. Let's take a minute of silence and collectively pray. Let's pray together and just create one thought, because collective single thought creates a ripple effect on the planet. God's power and blessings radiate to every soul on the planet. Each one is calm, peaceful, and powerful, perfect and healthy, secure. The planet is healed. God's power and blessings, the energy around the globe. That thing which had come on the planet came in to teach us a lot. It's gone, it's over, never to come again. Our world is safe, protected. Om Shanti. Thank you so much, brother, for bringing all of us together, because it is in these times that if everyone's together with the same intention, with the same thought, with the same feeling, it's then that miracles will start happening. We all hearing that probably it's the first time in history that the entire planet is facing the same crisis. But it's also the first time when everyone's creating the same emotion. And that emotion of fear and anxiety has started affecting a lot of minds. So really, it's the need of the hour to come together and create a vibration and energy of faith, calm, of peace and power. Because the one thing that the planet needs right now is healing energy. The planet needs healing, and for which the mind of the planet needs to be very calm and peaceful. And the mind of the planet means all our minds put together. It's the collective vibrations, the vibrations of the world, is all our minds put together. So our minds need to be very calm and powerful right now. And as far as the future is what we're going to see, a lot of people nowadays, they say, life will never be the same again. It's a new line I think we've got. And many of us say life will never be the same again after this. And which is very true. Life will never be the same again because this period is going to create a shift in people. But in which direction we take the shift is going to decide how life will be for us after this. For those of us who are taking this time to introspect, to reflect, to prioritize self-care, emotional health, to energize the self and the body, and to radiate those powerful vibrations to people, we are creating a shift in ourselves. We're shifting from fear to faith, from stress to peace, from disease to health. And when we create that vibrational shift inside us, life will never be the same again for us, that's for sure. But for those of us who have still not started, we really need to start taking care of ourselves. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and we've all sent such beautiful messages to our mothers. But now it's also time to mother yourself. We need to be a mother to our own self. Mother is a quality. Mother is not just a relationship. Mother is also a quality. So mother is a quality of unconditional acceptance, unconditional compassion, unconditional love. That is what we need to create for ourselves. So each time we're creating thoughts which are turbulent, thoughts of no hope, thoughts of anxiety, we're not being nice to ourselves. We are emotionally abusing ourselves and the ripple effect of that onto the planet. So be a mother to yourself. And just remember everything your mother does for you. Even when you've made a mistake, how's the mother to you? Be that way to your own self. So let's become our own mother this Mother's Day. And when we become our own mother and nurture our mind, we will also become a mother to a lot of minds. We can become a mother to a friend. We can be a mother to a colleague because a mother is a quality of unconditional acceptance, love, and compassion. So, a mother to the self, a mother to everyone around you, and a mother to this planet. This planet needs motherly love and healing energy. And when we radiate that energy, we're going to be a mother to this planet. And if we are a mother to this planet, then we need to be completely secure that nothing can go wrong with this world because the world has so many mothers to take care of the world. So let's begin with being a mother to the self, mother to people around us, and mother to the planet. A mother will never create a single wrong thought. It's never a single wrong thought for the child. Never a thought that, oh, things are not right, there's no future for my child. Even if everything is going wrong in the child's life, the mother will say, no, my child has a beautiful destiny. So the planet needs that motherly care. So let's be a mother to the planet. And the planet, which has so many mothers, nothing but the miracles and magic can happen. So we are certain about that. That's going to be our future, creating a very beautiful world together. That's certain. Thank you so much. Om Shanti. Would be nice for one of you to share till Brother Bakshi joins us.
I think my microphone was off.
Okay, sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Thank you so much for your words of wisdom, Sister Shivani. You have beautifully laid the foundation of this powerful evening as being the women power yourself. And the way you talked about and you gave us the real meaning of mother, that all of us need to become mother for our friends, for our people, for our teens. Because you beautifully said that you have to be mother for yourself and for others, because mother is quality of an unconditional acceptance of love and compassion. Inverted commas begin, inverted commas close. Mother is the quality of unconditional acceptance of love and passion. I think I am going to firm up this quote, put it in my thigh, and in an office, carry it off surely. It's going to be without pain. This has really touched my heart this evening. And thanks a lot for your initial remarks. We will keep on going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, now quickly let me go to the speakers one by one. I'm going in an alphabetic order with the name. I will go first to NG. NG is a Thai national. She looks like Indian face because her forefathers come from India. She's born in Thailand, comes from a very well-known family. Her father was an ambassador of Thailand to a couple of countries. NG has been 2.5 decades of work experience in business. Very tough business equipment skills she has, I have seen it, and is CEO of Creo Viva Thailand. Is she nurtured as a small baby and made a very large enterprise? I happened to be the head of human resources of the group that time when NG took over as CEO. NG's power of influencing in a world-class competitive environment. She's very well known in Bangkok. Great to have you here, NG, this evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bakshi. Nice to be here, and thank you for the honor.
NG, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I would give you a very small time, 2.5 minutes to respond to. You being Thai, and I know Thailand, what has really changed and what is going to be changing in women especially? I have a great respect for Thai women. You know, we do Savadika, we don't even shake hands in Thailand. And what is going to be that change in women? Last 6, 7 weeks, I see a lot of changes. What is going to be way forward change in women, especially when we look at working women in business? What do you feel about changing the life of people in Thailand, especially, and we will focus on women power. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, in my view, Thailand is a country where women have always been given a place of respect and recognition. And this is apparent from the number of women we see in leading positions in the corporate world and even in the political world. Women in Thailand have also been very active in managing households. For those who have visited Thailand, unlike a lot of countries in Asia, women are seen working everywhere in almost all occupations and significantly contribute to household income. In the last few weeks, women have been seen participating in a number of projects specifically related to COVID. And along with that, working from home means that the load that women carry is heavier than ever before. We are home trying to perform our professional jobs while the household activities which used to carry on while we were at work seem to have taken a turn. They're happening all day because the whole family's home, everybody's spending time together. That means the demands are now running 24/7. A bit more stressful, but nonetheless, most women have adapted and made changes to ensure that they can balance all those demands that they've been given. Socially, a lot of capable women have been involved in a lot of significant projects in the area of COVID. One specific project, COVID-19, the Thai Heroes Project, was an initiative to raise funds to help those on the front line. A lot of very, very capable, notable women were involved. They raised about $1.4 million in a matter of days. In the scientific community, you have a woman who's part of the program at a local medical school that's created COVID tests for use to test locally at very affordable prices. You've got a woman scientist who's involved in trying to develop a vaccine. So lots going on. And in my opinion, there's also a lot of women who are in the corporate sector who are now instituting changes in the way they manage their businesses to ensure that there's sustainability in the changes in the way they run their companies. Because right now, the main key focus for a lot of women, including myself, is how do we keep those companies operating and sustainable and profitable and keeping people on the payroll. Many companies have used this opportunity to lay off people with no notice. This is a time for change in a compassionate manner to ensure that we can run those businesses profitably, keep the operations going, keep people paid so their families are fed, and quality of life is maintained through this period of uncertainty and lack of normalcy, which is already a factor which brings about a lot of stress.
Fascinating. Thailand is fascinating. And this is my second home, 16 years. I always have Indian and Thai flag, which is part of my life always. And it has been one of the most wonderful places to live and work. Fascinating, Angie.
Thank you.
Let me go to next speaker. And I have Claire. Another very powerful human being, I can say, from Britain, England. And I know her as a leadership coach. She's part of our women program, women power programs. Our mission is to inspire people to deliver beautiful business models, especially working towards women alluring the senses of connect and compete in the world. That's the beauty Claire has got. Thank you so much, Claire, for being part of us this evening.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. It's amazing to be here.
Claire, you look so beautiful and vibrant. God bless you.
Thank you. I think
I have a question for you.
that's my mission to shine and make people smile, and I think I am on a mission to bring more care into what we do. And we've just said it before, we all need to be mothering ourselves. We need to bring more care into our businesses. We need to bring more care into what we do. And a lot of businesses have just been so much yang energy here, there, and everywhere. Let's do this, let's do that. I think this pandemic has actually giving us the time to pause and actually bring a bit more of that yin energy, and actually time to reflect and brings a bit more of that feminine energy. And how can we care for our environment? How can we care for our people? And I think this is our role as women as well. We already do that. We naturally have got more of a feminine energy into what we do. So I see women very much, I mean, here in Europe, women have jobs now in large organizations, CEOs, on board of directors, but probably maybe not enough of it, and now it's time to actually raise our voices and say, we don't have to be men. Let's just be women. Let's just bring that caring, receptive energy that we have, so we can make a great harmony in businesses, so we can bring something different, and we can generally care about what's going on nowadays. Well, employees engagement is crazy. Illness, sickness, people, mental illness, they're thinking all those different things in their head whilst they're confined at home. Is my job secured? Am I doing the right thing? How can we engage more our people to make them feel that we care about them? How can we really generally show, as leaders, as company business owners, that we need them, and we need them to be engaged and really love their vision and follow that vision in what we do. So we need to, as women, this is our future. It's about bringing what we do best, and being able to multitask, because we do that anyway. It's never been a better time to multitask and actually show that we can multitask so beautifully. And we do that so well, we don't actually have to think about it. We can take care of the children, we can take care of our business, we can actually have friends and family and do all the social behind it. And this is because we generally care. And, you know, like Shivana was saying this earlier, you know, but we do all this, but do we really care after ourselves? And sometimes I see that so often. We care so much for everybody else, so we forget ourselves. And so that's a big, I think for women, that will be a big thing. Yes, let's care for everybody else. Let's do this, let's do that. But rethink about, reposition a bit yourself, reground yourself, you know, think about yourself as well in those moments where, you know, it's really crazy out there.
Wonderful. That was really great. Thank you so much. I'll come back to you, clear up some time.
Excellent.
Now I go to my American friend, Darlene, another great leadership coach and a facilitator of women power with the concept of global talent. Huge experience of delivering with passion and perseverance in bringing out the best from women in leadership pursuits. I'm really grateful, Darlene, that you decided to be with us this evening. We have this evening, and I know you are in the morning hours and still becoming part of us. I am really thankful to you. And I have a question for you.
Okay.
I would like you to respond in the next 2.5 minutes. I'm reducing half a minute. US especially, and that's where we see it every day, New York and surroundings are devastating COVID. And in this process, the role of women becomes much more tougher, difficult, challenging. So after this, COVID is going to be over. COVID is not going to be over for sure, but after lockdown or to an extent we get some freedom to act. How do you see Americans, impact on the family values, connecting and being together?
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm so excited to be here. And so right now, women across the U.S. is adapting to the situation in all areas, from school teachers to nurses to professionals to business leaders, the politicians, on every field. They are actually rising to the occasion. They are being creative in how they manage and how they communicate and how they interact. They're showing great strength, dignity with empathy, as everyone's already talked about. They're influencing policy and change right now like never before. And they are actually rising to the occasion. They are facing a lot of challenges, but they are rising to the occasion to overcome the obstacles and challenges with grace. And they're wearing many hats, but they're so passionate about what they do, and they're determined to make an impact. And so what they're doing right now, as someone else actually mentioned, they're keeping their families together by ensuring that they're healthy, by activities, by not only addressing the physical needs, but the emotional needs, as we just heard. Really focus on making sure that their family is sticking together. In the household, as we already talked about, they're wearing so many hats. I mean, they are counselors, they're mothers, they're doctors, they're encouragers. And so I believe when all of this is over, and we don't really know exactly when it's going to be over, that the women in the U.S. are will be at a different level, because the change that they're experiencing now is really influencing them. They can actually see that they're empowering people, they're making a difference, and they're not going to stop here. They see that the changes that they have made a difference, and they're going to keep going. I'm just so excited about what it's going to look like when we come away from this, because the influence and the empowerment that women have right now, and they can see the difference that they're making, will continue as we continue to move forward on this side. So I'm really excited about what the future holds for us as women's leaders in every aspect and every field that women are possessing right now. Thank you.
It's very meaningful, Darlene, and very passionately you talk about things. And I have next Neelam from India, well-known personality in the development sector, the CEO of Child Fund India, a visionary leader with huge and rather very rich experience, journalism, communication, fundraising, and social development. Getting her on board was great as we met 5 years back in Delhi, and we really got disconnected. Thankful to COVID that we got reconnected. Very grateful, Neelam, for your presence here this evening. I have a quick question for you. Change is a continuous process. No change, no growth. Change is a continuous process. No change, no growth. How will our women power change in this? 2.5 minutes, please.
Thank you, DK. I always say that thing. So I suppose with COVID, we got connected again. So one silver lining here. Thank you for inviting me on this platform. Great pleasure. To your question, how does women power change because of COVID? I would probably say it doesn't, because we already are very powerful, and I think we get even better. So allow me to elaborate. So I'll just take 7 countries, from Taiwan to Germany, New Zealand, Norway, Finland. All of them are headed by women leaders. And you know what we saw was, for example, when COVID started, Angela Merkel went and said 7% of us will get infected, so get serious. And she sent a very, very direct message. Taiwan, that is headed by President Tai, and she has been rated Taiwan has actually been rated by CNN as the world's best response. And even before COVID was announced as a pandemic, she had put in 124 control measures. So I think what I'm trying to say here is that women in positions, in leadership positions, have been very, very effective. And I don't think this changes in any case post-COVID. I think what works for women in positions and show that, you know, we have the right emotional intelligence, we do great communication, we have absolute, you know, exemplified firm action in times of need. So we have been actually shown unparalleled resilience in times of emergencies before, now, and I'm sure going forward. So I think the women power gets stronger. We have demonstrated that women can actually do the job. Not to say that men cannot, but I think I also believe that women have this gut feeling that allows us to, so we are less likely to fail than men. And I firmly believe in that. Thank you.
Super thoughts, Neelam. Thank you so much. Next, Yari from Kabul, Afghanistan. A great woman from Afghanistan who challenged the status quo with her work in building equality or peace building, especially women empowerment in Afghanistan. She's been part of the government of Afghanistan and the First Lady office. She was part of 60 women leaders, which I, along with 6 female leaders, we trained them on. The ladies were ministers, senators, directors of Afghan government, and we spent 6 days on transformation leadership. One of the best experiences of my life to train these powerful women at Mazar-e-Sharif in Afghanistan, which was very tough at that point of time. And I remember the foreign minister, Sushma ji, was in touch every day because of the security reason. But UN, a woman organization, took care of us a lot. And we loved the people here. Thank you very much, Paristo, for joining. I have a question for you, Paristo, Yari. The question is, Afghanistan is a country where women power and empowerment is certainly a tough. And with the COVID, with the new norm, how do you think this women empowerment really turns to be the women power in Afghanistan? Barsato, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me? I raised
Yes, yes, I am here. Hello to everyone. Many thanks to Mr. Dike. Let's hope to emerge from COVID-19 crisis. Of course, we cannot go back to things like before, but we need to work together for better future for all human. Let me share my appreciation from the global talent for paving the ground for empowerment of women. I am so happy empowerment and leadership society after the crisis of COVID-19. When COVID-19, yes. When we emerge from this crisis, we cannot go back to think which they were. We need to build a better future for all. Afghan women are not only for their empowerment. They passed lots of difficulties for proving of their strong position and existence in the society. Now they have a continuous fight. Two, for Afghan women empowerment or international society and United Nations played a very strong role. Now Afghan women are trying to be part of decision maker in different layers of Afghan politics, peace process, and social issues. For having a high impact on Afghan women position. Afghan women need the continued support of international community and work to be more powerful women for better achievement. 3. As we pass COVID-19 crisis and situation gets normal back, Afghan women again will stand to support each other, helping education and private more awareness for an effective role in peace process. Also, they will show their role as Afghan women in political leadership in national and international level. This will undoubtedly have more effective and significant outcomes. Thank you.
So that sounds great what you're talking, and we are there to support the women empowerment in Afghanistan. Some of these people, new people, old people, which were there earlier. So I think we have a lot of things to offer beyond the lockdown, maybe next 10, 12, 15
Thank you. I appreciate for you.
We should be around, not necessarily in Kabul, but many other places of the world. Last but not the least, is Tahira Amir Khan, a Singaporean, founder of Golden Truths, an absolute amazing program and interventions she does globally. I know her personally. She has been part of Women Power concept of global talent, a very multifaceted approach of connecting women with the power of influencing. People call her women of substance. It's my honor to really work with her very closely on various concepts. Thank you, Tahira, for being part of global talent journey of excellence, building women power around the world. Tahira, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Singapore is certainly fast forward,
Mhm,
this time very careful and very cautious.
mhm.
You drive women empowerment a lot. Will there be rapid changes in the mindset of women power as there is too much of stress?
Hi, DK. Thank you so much for introducing me. And, good question. Singapore is always synonymous with progress. When you think of anything, Singapore's always the first one wanting to implement. And it's like Singapore itself is like a thought leader. So one of the things is myself, I've been more than 20 years in technology, and now I've gone to the softer side of things. And there is a reason for that. Now, women have a lot of, empowerment in Singapore. It's been there for a while, and women have been raised up quite a bit, and they have a lot of privileges. They have, great opportunities. But now I feel it's the next stage, especially with COVID-19, because of the absolute stresses, the economy, Singapore being such a small country with such a high population, the impact of it is quite significant. That women and men need to start coming together. Women empowerment in a country like Singapore is important, but now I feel that the next level is human alignment. This means men and women working more harmoniously together, more aligned. Women empowerment in the oldest sense, a country like, for example, Afghanistan, you don't even have the basics. Women don't even have access to education. They're being married off, sold off. Women are here and men are here, okay? But Singapore, we are very much there. Of course, there's still some gaps. But now the direction for Singapore is really being closely aligned with men. And in that way, the people in Singapore can reach another level. We are so stressed out in terms of technology, in terms of progress, running around, always being the best. We always want to be the best. We want to have the first, the best airport. Anyway, there's such a long list. We've got the Gardens by the Bay, we've got everything, the best. But the human side is falling behind. Human side is falling behind. So what I want to say, in fact, I focus, being a person from technology, I now focus on the human technology. The human technology is, in fact, more important than the hardware technology or the software technology, whatever you talk about. Human technology should always be on par ahead. So men and women coming together like a tightly knit tapestry, reducing the stress. More people are dying of stress than of COVID-19, I'll tell you honestly. So stress is the biggest killer, the loneliness, the suicide rates. I'm not talking about Singapore, I'm talking generally. People are not used to be locking down. And even if it's not locked down, they're not used to handling things on their own. So it's a global problem. It's a global problem, it's a Singapore problem. So I feel we are entering into now releasing stress, lowering down stress, and men and women honoring each other. The man honoring women and women honoring men. It should not be a competition. It's no longer a battle. We have gone past the battle. Yes, we have. I think that with COVID-19, we have reached an era where we have gone past the battle. Now we need to be closely aligned, and then we move past this. It will be a wonderful, I think, a beautiful relationship at work, at home. We won't be saying that, what the roles, we won't even look at roles. It'll just happen naturally. Many men are now starting to cook and they're showing off their culinary skills on Facebook and they're proud of it. These are men who travel so much and they don't cook, but now they're so proud of it. So it's no longer shifting away from the categories. So I think the lines are being blurred and that greater harmony, the peace, if we move in the right direction, the honoring between both genders, that the gender issues becomes a basic need that's solved. We don't even look at gender things anymore. Now we look at bigger things. Let's look at bigger things like solving the big issues instead of gender matters. It's a basic need. We need to close that off.
That was great. Fantastic. We have completed this first round, and we have the honor and the privilege of having with us very special guest of honor, Sister Shivani. Sister Shivani, you have heard thoughts from Thailand to Singapore to India to England and US. And when we looked at your thoughts at the beginning when we started, and there's a combination of thoughts which have come from all these powerful, wonderful, beautiful ladies who are contributing to the global community. And when they spoke about various aspects of women and power and men and women, no gender, I would request you, while we are talking about the futuristic view of our powerful women in life, what do you think? How do we move forward post-COVID? And what could be that beauty of creating much more respect for women? Because we do have issues when we look at Afghanistan or we look at some of the places around the world where there are issues where women are concerned, but then there are communities and countries where women have equal rights and equal respect, India being one of them very clearly. What do you feel, Mr. Shivani? What's your view? And I would like you to spend some time on this. I would again request you to share your thoughts for the next 7-8 minutes. It will be an honor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was beautiful learning from the experiences and the motivation that each one has shared, not for just for their country, but also for the world. But if you look at it, the one common thread that's come through everyone's sharing is, on one side, the current scenario of stress, anxiety, depression, and suicide. On the other side, a very, very promising and a beautiful future. And about empowerment. And like shared lastly was that we need to put aside the gender issue. It's been a very long time that we've been talking woman, man, who's superior, who's inferior. It's just been a very, very long time. And so to be able to put aside that, we would need to use our spiritual power. So empowerment is two things. One is empowerment outside, women empowerment, when we say we need to give them opportunities, work opportunities, equality outside. And the other thing is empowerment inside. If stress, anxiety, fear, depression, then I need empowerment inside. And when it's inner empowerment, it's not about man or woman. It's the energy which needs empowerment. In spiritual language, we call it conscience, we call it soul, spirit, light, power. It has no gender. There's no man, woman, gender there. It's the empowerment of the soul here. And when we are empowered, then our perspective of connecting with each other, looking at each other, would not be through our labels of our gender, through the labels of our roles and positions, nationality, country, caste, religion. It is all these labels that we have put on ourselves because of which we are different from each other. So either we have issues because of our gender, sometimes we're having issues because of our religion, we are not being able to understand each other. Sometimes it's because of different countries. It's always one barrier or the other because we are creating our acquired personality as our identity. So if I have to check my identity, then I will start with I'm a woman because that's the identity of my gender. It's the identity of my body. Second, I will say I'm an Indian because I live in India. Then I will say I'm a Hindu because that's the religion of my family. But this was all mine. This is not I. It's my body, my gender, my role, my country, my nationality, my religion. But everything that was mine, we said it's I, and we made that our identity. And then we were different from each other, either superior to someone or inferior to someone. And that's why always had differences with each other. This is all mine, but who am I? And that question needs to be answered. Who am I? I am that pure being connecting to another pure being. Religion, caste, gender, nationality is always going to be different, but the being is the same, one being connecting to another being. And when all of us are spiritually empowered, which means we remember this always in our connections, in our relationships, in our interactions, then whether it's a man or a woman, whether it's a senior in an office with a junior in the team, whether it's religion, there will not be any criticism, judgmental behaviors, pulling each other down, exploiting or abusing. It will not, because we will be spiritually empowered. So empowerment, yes, but empowerment for everyone. It's not man or woman empowerment. It's empowerment for every individual to know thyself, and therefore to be able to recognize the divinity and purity in the other being, and then we'll all be equal. There will be no one above the other. We're all equal. Differences are only in gender and nationality and caste, not in the being. So I think spiritual empowerment is the need of the hour. That will give us answers to almost every question on the mind and answers to every issue before the world today. So empowerment for all of us. Thank you.
Oh, God, that's so beautiful. And you put it together in such a beautiful way. And need of that is empowerment, spiritual empowerment. Very fascinating. And I personally believe in who am I? And I do this exercise very powerfully with both men and women. And of course, this who am I is something which is very difficult for people to understand. I don't know. The way when you express it touches our heart, soul, and the feeling is so powerful. I must really thank you from the core of my heart for your very beautiful inputs. Thank you, Sister Shivani. I'll come back to you. Now, we go for the second fast. And I will go the same way and talk about NG. NG, business leader, business leadership, we power, being CEO of a very successful company, and you have many other friends who are the CEOs of very great companies in Thailand and surroundings, where you are working in complete Asia Pacific, APEC region. Would you see there would be more women post-COVID coming into bigger roles, bigger opportunities in the business world? What do you think? Is this going to be more and more? Is it going to be pushed more? What is your view?
In my opinion, I think opportunities for women are all around and increasing both locally and globally. This is evident from the number of women you see leading countries, those that are in corporate leadership positions, and even women who are now spearheading major social initiatives all over the world. There are very few industries today where women don't have a presence. But nonetheless, the key focus, in my opinion, should not be to look for opportunity for women, but to aim to ensure that there's equal opportunity for both men. The level playing field, the opportunity to access education, training, employment, and advancement, which I believe is of utmost importance. And another very important element is to ensure that men and women are working in harmony and supporting each other. Okay? Definitely COVID has actually given us an opportunity to see things from a very different perspective, that it's actually possible to work from home, that performance doesn't necessarily mean you have to be present in the office. It's a great opportunity for companies to actually look at things with a new perspective, design jobs to make it possible for women to balance work, family, personal lives, parenthood. I believe that the pandemic has opened doors for us to provide women and companies with the opportunity to bring up new solutions that will be mutually beneficial and workable and result in no loss of productivity or profit. But the key importance in the advancement of women, COVID or not, is a question of mindset. It's a question of, like Tahira had said, a question of building that harmony, a question of that spiritual empowerment, like was mentioned earlier by Sister Shivani. The sharing of stories, the looking at women who have succeeded because they received help from men and vice versa. Sharing those stories, recognizing both men and women with potential, and having men support those women support those men, so that we're giving out examples and showing the world a way to change mindset, to combat the bias that's there consciously or unconsciously, so that we build more harmony in the workplace. And that eventually they take back into society. It opens doors to create a better world for all of us to live in. That's how I see it.
Deliver the message clearly. In the meanwhile, I would request the participants, the attendees, they can write down their questions. We will soon be coming to the Q&A session. We would like to have more engagement. We would not like to have it only for one side communication. I would appreciate you please start writing your questions, and within next 5 to 10 minutes, we will go and look at questions and we will start responding. So please feel free to raise your questions, and let's get engaged properly. Let's not do it one-way communication. Thank you very much, attendees. Let's get your questions. Now let me move to the next speaker, Claire. Claire, strategically, how different will women power lead families in England, especially basics and values? And when we look at future generations, the millennials and the next generation, how would they accept that family culture, beliefs, and values? Because they are into a very different perspective of thinking differently about life. So what do you feel? And you can give an example in England, and of course, you can look at the global world, because you're also doing a lot of work globally. So that's a question for you, Claire.
Yes, thank you, DK. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just a UK thing. I think it is a global thing, because women everywhere are, like we've just said, they are empowered, they are able to do the job that they want to do, that they love, the passion, and also raising the family. And isn't about a choice, or we have to do either one or the other. We can do it all, and that's the difference about the previous generation. We perhaps didn't have as much choice or as much empowerment to be able to have the both of both worlds, the best of both worlds. And so as a woman, it's also, we are becoming new models. You know, we are the new models of our generation, our children. So my children will be looking at me completely differently from what I was looking at my parents, you know, when I was growing up. And so we are modeling a new way of life, you know, that we don't have to either do one or the other. And I think values are a really important words, DK, that we perhaps we don't bring enough into what we do, because our values are anchored in us. You know, we kind of grow. It's really difficult to change values, although, you know, you can have different values when something really important change happens, which perhaps is that moment in time in life with that pandemic where we are thinking, what are my values? What is non-negotiable to me? What is so important that I will not do anything different from that? And this is where you know, when you look for a new job, when you look for, you know, when you're recruiting somebody, you know, why are you not aligning everything to the values? Because, you know, if you want to get married with someone and his values are completely different than yours, it's never going to work. You know, you need to have that alignment in values. So, you know, we need to really kind of understand what our values, what is important to us, be able to share it with the world. And in a business world, being able to actually align our decision with our values, and this is quite important, you know. And so as a family values and as a business values, we need to be able to align everything that we do. We are becoming models, where the millenniums are looking at us and the way we do things, and they'll take what they like and they'll make up their own. And that's the thing about it, you know, each generation is bringing a new thing. And so we're creating a harmonious life between our lives and our business. And like we talked about, Neelan talked about emotional intelligence and resilience, and those are the two kind of biggest thing that we can talk about. Because emotional intelligence will be, if we can understand others, if we can understand how they're behaving, we will understand ourselves, we will create a better harmony in communication with other people in front of us. This is the way that we will be able to create that real kind of culture where we're all working together towards the same, you know, vision. And resilience is that way that, you know, you'll bounce and you'll move forward and you'll lean forward, you'll learn from your mistake, and you're able to then really kind of go forward and looking at this pandemic, what can we learn from it? What can we take that's great about it and actually move on and make a better world for ourselves?
Yeah, thank you so much. Great message, given and very thoughtful. Thank you, Claire.
You're welcome.
Now we need to go to my next person is Darlene. Darlene, dear. Yeah, Darlene, what do you envisage role of women at society, community, and political level in US? Will they get more opportunities to lead? And when we see the present political leadership and the past, when we try to have the political leadership women, and how do you see that going to be different post-COVID, the futuristic view?
Well, thank you for the question, DK. So I do envision that women will continue to move forward. Um, this year, for the first time, we had 4 women run as candidates for the United States president. So that was pretty amazing. We will have a woman as a vice president in the Democratic Party, maybe even a woman of color. But what I've seen and what's come out of this pandemic is we've seen great inequality in terms of Black and Brown. Not just women, but across the board. So I am hoping that when we come out of this pandemic, the eyes have been opened, people have seen where the inequality is, and really address it. Not just talk about it, not just recognize it, but really address it. That's going to be where not just women, but people in general will be empowered. That those women who are in positions can really make a difference, to be influential, and to close the gap that we are seeing between the Black and the brown in women and people across the US. So I am really hoping that when we come out, the social, the political, the economical gaps that we have within our society, and we all know that women are on the lower realm of it all, that we will be able to bridge the gap. And my prayer is that the women that are in leadership positions, women that are influential, women that are in business, that can make a difference, can change policy, can, you know, sound the horns, can really address this issue. So when we come out of this, there's already issues on the table that need to be addressed to help people of color to be able to get to those positions that we now see clearly through this pandemic. So thank you, DK, for the opportunity. As you can tell, I'm passionate about it, and I really believe and envision that there's going to be a major change.
You're mad about it, making a difference. Thank you.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I am equally mad about it. So I am actually enjoying what I do. So that's where the power of passion and perseverance comes in. I'm going to Neelam now. Neelam is part of the child fund, so there's a lot of work around. Children look at parents, especially mothers, the role of mothers, especially the working women who are multitasking, we have been talking. As men, the women are also into the rat race. I can say only for last 1 decade. Before 1 decade, I think things were different. Do you think there will be some rethinking in bringing up children and balancing between profession and children needs? How do you see that, Neelam?
Thank you, DK. It's ironical you asked me a question on being a mother, and when Sister Shivani was talking about motherhood, I was getting goosebumps. So I'm a second mother to my nephews. My sister Pooja has 2 boys, and I consider her boys as my boys. So it's been a pleasure. She did all the hard work, and I get to enjoy them. They're now grown-ups and they're working. But I suppose not only because of COVID, but I think we need the balancing. I think it's also about how do you give parity and space, and how do you listen to them. And I think Sister Shivani made a really good point. All of us are mothers. So I think they've given me the pleasure of enjoying the motherhood without doing the nappies and being up all night. And I think you have to negotiate your way through with your children now. It's not about I'm older, so you got to listen to me, or I'm your mother or not. But I think it's about being negotiating it. But in these COVID times, which are very, very uncertain, complex, ambiguous, I think it is keeping that perspective. We now suddenly have a punctured life, but then I'm going to take a lot of cue from what Sister Shivani said in terms of it's going to be better, but how do I reflect on myself? So I think what COVID has really given us the opportunity as mothers, but as self, and who am I? And I think that, especially for me, I'm always on a go and always out and about. So I think what this has given us is really time to sit, reflect, and learn more about us, but also then see what space we are giving to children. And I think what I have seen is you can also reflect on your own parenting skills. How are we bringing up our children? What kind of core values, including your compassion and integrity, and what generosity have we taught our own children, and what are we practicing ourselves? So I think in times of COVID-1, yes, we've been in a rat race. It has given us time to reflect. I don't think ever we'll go back to the way it was, but we can certainly pick up some pointers from how we saw ourselves. And like Sister Shivani said, yourself and I, and where am I in this whole ecosystem with children? But I think with COVID, what it has done has asked, forcefully asked us to stop that rat race for a minute. But I think with children, and as they grow up, and as my boys are growing up, it's about parity and giving them parity and space, but also learning how do you deal with the communication between them, verbal and non-verbal. Children are very smart, they pick up very quickly. So what's the verbal and non-verbal communication that we do with our kids and around them? So I think with this COVID, the opportunity has been to stand back and look at what the new normal could be, and how do we empower them? Also a word that I love dearly, and Sister has used it as well. How do we empower ourselves emotionally, spiritually, and transfer that same to our children? So post-COVID, I believe that, we should come out stronger in many senses. We should come out stronger and transfer the same to our children. And I wish the same for my sister and the boys. So I get very emotional. They were wishing me Mother's Day, and I couldn't find the right words to even say how precious they are. So children are very precious, and therefore, how do we empower them to lead the lives that we have? Very, very uncertain and ambiguous. But how do we empower them and negotiate our relationship with them? It's not taken for granted, but how do you negotiate your relationship with the children is going to be important. And I think we should have learned that over all these few weeks of reflection. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very beautifully, you could take it forward. And Paristo Yari from Kabul, so you are a promoter of women empowerment. And that too in Afghanistan. What is that role clarity which men have in Kabul post-COVID, which you envisage to be there? And let's go for a very short and brief response, please. Because we are a lot of questions coming in. We need to respond to questions. Please be brief. 1.5 minutes. Can you hear me, Paristo?
Thank you for the question, Mr. DK. In my opinion, or all Afghan women opinion, COVID-19 is not the first crisis for Afghan women at all. And the recent 4 decades, as we experience 4 decades of war, suffering, economic challenges, losing family sustainability, and so on. Afghan women are fighting against difficult and obstacles. Today, Afghan women are not the women who were 20 years ago. They are more powerful than the past, with lots of enthusiasm and self-confidence, as they have been every powerful in all life sectors, who are standing now and fight against COVID-19. And I believe they can defeat this pandemic. Afghan women as a half of Afghan society, focusing issues like Afghanistan after COVID-19 in economic, social, and cultural sectors. Afghanistan today is not only suffering from COVID-19 crisis. We have political instability, peace process, and so on, which altogether are big challenges to talk about. The Afghan powerful women beside Afghan men trying to control and stabilize social situation during and after COVID-19 crisis. In this process, Afghan women are more active, especially in part of social awareness among society on the subject of family management during quarantine, awareness, reasoning to prevent epidemic of COVID-19, and peace process awareness, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the best for your efforts. And let me go to Tahira now. Tahira, is there any rebooting exercise required for the futuristic view? How do we reboot? Can you hear me?
Okay. Hi, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. How do we reboot?
How do we reboot?
Okay, very simply, this whole situation we're going through right now is teaching us to go into the inner, and we have somewhat lost control of the outer because of all the constraints, restrictions, and so forth. So in order to reboot, we need to go into we need to I mean, as many of us go through that inner transformation, allow ourselves to grow spiritually, evolve, and have a greater awareness, wisdom, and strength. Because what we're going to go through the next few months, even if you come out of the lockdown, it's not going to be easy. We're still going to have social distancing. Businesses are already, many of them have started collapsing and they are struggling. So we need to develop inner strength. And how do you get inner strength? Building up the inner. It has to be internal. So in this situation may go on for another year and then perhaps even the following year. How are we going to survive? Build up the inner. That's the most important thing. And right now, humanity has faced the most separation ever, I believe, because of the physical distancing, and we are not used to it. So that means that we need to learn to become as much closer together, at least emotionally and spiritually and mentally, with the distance, because of that big gap. You know, just before dawn is always darkest. So we are at the darkest point when it comes to distance, when it comes to separation, because we faced separation in terms of gender before. Now we still have in certain countries that gender segregation, some countries, not all. But now we're also facing among all peoples physical separation. And people are afraid to come near each other now. In Singapore, they start fighting with you if you come within 1 meter. So there's a fear. There's an inbuilt fear, and it's going to go on for a while. So what's the futuristic view? What's a futuristic view? Futuristic view is what's relevant, staying relevant, and being sustainable. For our planet to be sustainable, for our society to be sustainable, we need to be able to have inner strength. Knowledge is not good enough. Being, having good health, of course, immunity, but we need to have strength of character. We need to have emotional strength to get to ride through this. And the growth in the building on our inner, our wisdom, our self-awareness will get us through this. So spirituality, that's what it goes back to.
Thank you so much. I think we have a lot of questions coming in, and I would request the audience attendees to raise their hands. There's a sign you can raise your hand, and we can know you and know your questions. So I have questions already here, and I have questions for Sister Shivani. Sister, it said we all believe that women are very powerful by all means, not touching the gender issue. By considering the mind power and spiritual power in outer world and within, then why we don't get enough women power to run the district, states, and oblique or countries? Sister Shivani.
We understand spiritual power. We understand qualities of every individual. So really, again, we need to go beyond gender. And when you're selecting for a position or a role, it's the quality of the individual. So, when you're making a selection, do not do it on the bias of a gender. Then we will be over with all these issues. And when you look at the strengths, the powers, and the quality, the intuitive power, what the future will need will be intuitive power. Even in business, you will need intuitive leadership. Logical leadership might not work for some time because what you think logically might not happen, but that intuitive leadership. So when you find a person with the power of intuition, power of clarity, power of compassion, then that's that individual who should be your leader, whether in an organization, a district, or a state.
Okay. Coming in here is, I believe women are very sensible. They do a lot of multitasking, quick decisions, fast to respond. When will we see them taking care of world as a mother, as we call it? Sister Shivani.
Taking care of world as a mother is through your thoughts and feelings. There's a lot right now. The planet needs healing energy. Look at the planet. It needs healing energy. What we are all creating is fear, anxiety, stress, criticism, blaming people. None of this energy is the energy which the planet needs. So a mother will give a child what the child needs. The planet needs healing energy, and healing energy means peaceful, calm, powerful minds who are certain about a very beautiful future. And when each one of us is radiating that energy, then our mind power is nurturing the planet. So it's not necessary that you get to always do something, because everybody might not get the opportunity to do something, but everyone can do something from here. So radiate that energy of healing in your every thought and your word and your behavior. The energy of prayers, blessings, affirmations, meditation. We all pray, we all meditate, we create blessings, but we do it for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then the rest of the day, we're again talking that same thing. Oh, nothing good. This year is gone. Nothing can happen this year. Nothing will happen. If we keep on saying this again and again and again, then that's what will happen, because our thoughts manifest. Our thoughts become a reality. So a mother means creating the highest thought for the world, for the planet. And then your thought will nurture the planet. It will heal the planet. And we will create a reality which we will create a vision here. So mother need not be you have to do something physical. We are all doing it in our capacity. Mother means nurturing the planet with our pure vibrations of faith, peace, and calm and power. Not stress, anxiety, fear. That's not mother. So that's abusing the planet. That's depleting the energy of the planet. So let's nurture the planet.
LG, there's a question for you which is coming in. What are the final solutions and strategies you envision to address the present challenges? Quick response, Angie.
I think that strategies and responses to the current situation should be catered based on the actual environment. Although we have COVID worldwide, the struggles and the challenges that are faced in each country, in each city, in each community are very different. It's a question of customizing to ensure that we handle problems at the core. In a lot of societies, what you're seeing is people are trying to just manage the situation to overcome the present day, 1 week from now, to make sure that let's hope COVID doesn't come back. But what are the core issues that we need to look at? The core issues that we need to look at are self-care. The core issue that we need to look at is hygiene. The core issue we need to look at is education and awareness. So unless we plant the seeds and develop people to have these mindsets, we're only going to have short-term solutions. In order to have long-term solutions, you have to go to the core of the problem in each society, in each community, and slowly make those changes. And that's a lot of investment in terms of time, in terms of resources. But it's the only way to make it sustainable long-term. The world has been so used to getting short-term solutions, quick fixes. I don't think that's what we need to.
Claire, the question which is coming is, and what would be the most challenging part about working at women empowerment in future? Claire.
Empowerment, yes, I think there's that word. You can't have empowerment if you don't have trust. And businesses have kind of found it. Suddenly we had to close everything, we had to send everybody home, and we had to trust that they were still going to do what they were supposed to do. So if you have a leadership, or if you have a business which oozes a culture of trust, which generally care about their employees and are giving them the tools to do the job that they want to do, and inspire them to go towards that mission. This is the ultimate empowerment, is actually trust, which isn't in all businesses. So if you want to really engage your employee, trust them, that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. And if they don't, well, then you've got you've got issues. But this is key to any culture to really work as a whole and really work together is that trust that you bring together. So you're engaging everybody, you know they are going to be here, you know they're going to follow you. And that's key to any kind of businesses. Or, even in a family environment, if we're looking at, the family structure, the day one of your brother or sister do something that, and you couldn't trust them, of course, how come I can't trust you? And the trust is gone, and suddenly the whole family is dismantled because there was a trust issue in there. So yes, absolutely very important, the trust to be able to be empowered.
For Tahira, I mean, the people understand that there's going to be layoff of jobs, job cuts post-COVID. How the working women will be affected by changing times? Quick one and fast one.
How will women be affected by these job cuts? Is that what the question is?
Yes.
Moving forward?
Yeah.
Well, I think, what's that sound? Something that we have to embrace as a new, adapting with a new kind of life, what it is. There's a kind of sound there. Sorry.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. We don't have time now.
Okay, we have to adapt. This whole situation with this world crisis is really a teacher to us to learn to adapt. So whether we're going to lose our jobs, whether we're not going to be seeing our families, it's just part and parcel. And we probably need to accept it and learn to be versatile. Versatile in terms of running a small business, running an online business, working out something new. And we all have gifts. All of us have gifts, and we're all entrepreneurs in their own right. So if they lose their job, fine, be versatile, start something. Everybody has something special that they can market, because there's something I have which you will probably need. It could be anything, whether it's wisdom, whether it's designing something, anything. So this crisis is a great teacher of versatility, of growth. That's what I feel. And we can't expect that life to be the same as before, that you're going to have that job. The whole industry is going to change. Industry as it is going to be new. There are going to be some industries will never exist again. And there will be some new industries which are going to rise up. So we need to be prepared and be strong, strength and versatility. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are racing with the time. Now, before we close, I would again request Sister Shivani give an overall overview, finally, the futuristic view in closing remarks from your side, because the questions are very tough to carry on now. It's already late. Sister Shivani, your brief thoughts. The future lies, COVID is around, and what is going to be women final steps, final power of women around? Sister Shivani, final brief from your side, the people of the world. Sister Shivani?
The future will be what our mind will think, create, radiate, and manifest. Nothing gets created out in the world. It first gets created in our minds. So it's very important for us to create a very beautiful future in our mind right now. And for that, I think one commitment which we need to make to ourselves is to keep at least an hour every morning for self-care. The me time. Before COVID, if we asked anybody, please keep an hour for yourself, they had one simple answer: we're all short of time. And that time, the stress was that we are short of time. Now the stress is we have too much time and nothing to do. So this way or that way, we were stressed about this situation. But now, whether it's now while we're at home, we're able to change our lifestyle, our daily routine. And once created now, we will continue with that routine when we are out from the lockdown. Keep 1 hour every morning for yourself, energizing the soul and exercising the body. This is the foundation of life. Powerful mind, healthy body will be able to face any situation. Just let's start taking of the care of the mind and the body. Intuitive, powerful. Even if we lose a job, the mind will be new, clear to be able to create something very new. Like how sister shared with us. It's going to be something which we hadn't thought of. And just look at it next year. By next year at this time, many of us are going to be saying that I had never thought of this, what I have been able to do because of COVID. Many of us are going to be saying this. I was living my life just the same old way, not having changed anything for so many years. But this one situation changed me and changed my life for good. So many of us will be saying this by next year, because whenever there's a crisis, when the mind is clear, something very beautiful is going to come out of it. So the future is going to create it in the mind. Just commit 1 hour of me time, self-care time every morning for yourself.
Thank you so much. I think we need to now finally close, and I would like to thank each one of you as women leaders, from Angie to Claire to Darlene, Neelam, Baristo, and Tahira, especially our guest of honor, Sister Shivani, for this wonderful contribution. And on behalf of Global Talent, it has been an endeavor to reach to people around the world. We are tomorrow on a review where we are talking about the leadership. 14th, we are doing a big event again, which is going to be Padma Shri Pritam Singh, strategic leadership globally with Asha Badarkar and 3 professors from Harvard, one from US, UK, and Europe. And then we are going to be with 6 CFOs. So this will carry on till the lockdown is around. So I would like to thank all the attendees. I would like to thank the WebEx Cisco people for their tremendous support to make this event possible. And there are a lot of people on the Facebook. They can really make comment there. We will certainly respond to their comments. So fruitful session we, and I would say that each one of you great ladies were something which was very important and closer to my heart, the women power, which gave us a lot of ideas how to move forward. And we are soon going to be, maybe next 10 to 12 weeks, going to be working on women power in different countries. All goes well, God should be with us. We would have been already into the countries. And Sister Shivani, again, I would again talk about what I have made for you. S is simple, H is humane, I is intelligent, V is vast, A is amazing, N is natural, and I is iconic. I'll make a beautiful one and send it to you in your house, Leila. You're so great to us. Earlier also, we lost touch, but then God has been great. This time we would reconnect. And thanks, audience. Thanks, speakers. Thanks, Sister Shivani. Thank you, Varsha, Global Talent. Of course, everybody. And Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Om Shanti. Om Shanti is give us relief. Make us careless. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Tahira. Thank you, Baristo. Thank you, Neelam. It has been amazing to be with you all, ladies. Fantastic. Let's remain in touch. Namaste, Sawadikap. Good
Okay.
evening. And good morning to Darlene again. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. See you.